Hello Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for the Cuckoo's Fiancee, chapters 66 and 67. I'm very late on both of these, so I'm doing them both in one sitting. I'll probably end up a very, very long video as a result. My last Cuckoo double feature was like 45 minutes, so we'll see how long it lasts. Anyway, when we last left our heroes, Erika had forced Nagi and Hiro back to the Sagawa Shrine to sort of have a talking to with Erika's mom, and Erika kind of, while sort of berating Nagi for his boneheaded, not really thinking actions, Erika kind of comes to terms with the fact that she's never really faced her own problems head on. Instead of actually confronting her parents about not wanting to be engaged to someone she never met, she just kind of ran away. Which is all kind of at war with her own burgeoning feelings for Nagi, all very complicated, juicy stuff there. Anyway, after all that, Hiro kind of thanks both of them for coming for her. Erika admits that she thought that Nagi was actually kind of cool, along with being really stupid. The two of them have a nice little moment there, and then we come back to the shared house, where Sachi is talking to Soichiro. And Soichiro was kind of shocked that Nagi had a girl he liked, and is kind of wondering how that will play in with his plans, whatever the fuck his plans are. So yeah, all that being said, let's jump right on into chapter 66. Nagi confessed to you, right? And our picture here is of Erika in what looks like workout gear, like a sports bra, and maybe that might be a skirt, which isn't quite workout gear. But the appearance of workout gear is definitely what she's going for. Enter Nagi's first love, and a bombshell declaration out of nowhere. Right, last chapter teased that we'd be finally meeting Aya this week. So, we open on a game of, I think that's Othello. So I got a message from Hiro-chan online. This is Erika. Just got my things, thank you. For the moment, it seems I'll be having a discussion with my family about my future, it says. And Nagi kind of thinks to himself as he makes his next move, and Erika continues, "Aren't you happy, Nagi-kun? You moved back into your room and everything." Right, he had him sort of living in the closet. But Nagi sort of looks away. That's not the issue here. Sorry if you can hear my dog barking. She's just like that sometimes. And Erika kind of like goes on to the tease mode. Then what is it? Feeling lonely? Nagi looks away. No, I'm fine. And then Erika makes her next move, kind of like leaning down on the table. Also, Daddy contacted me too. He says he wants to talk soon. With you too. With me? So again, whatever game Soichiro is playing here, he's probably gonna be hinting towards it again during that conversation. Maybe he knows about Aya? I can't imagine he would. Though admittedly, Soichiro's games are so convoluted, I don't know what he knows, what he's after. But my reasoning for thinking that he wouldn't really know about Aya is that he wouldn't know about Nagi until shortly before the start of the series, and Aya moved away like a decade ago. Anyway, all that kind of remains to be seen. As Erika continues, that's why I'm worried he's going to be doing something annoyingly extra. Could he have found out about Hiro-chan being here? Which he has, though only thanks to Sachi's snooping. But Nagi, not aware of that facet, counters that's not possible. Unless he has wiretaps planted everywhere, that is. And Erika, snaps back, "Are you sure he doesn't?" If he did, he wouldn't have anything to discuss. Daisy, knock it off! Sorry about that. She's just going fucking ballistic. Anyway, if he did, he wouldn't have anything to discuss. So if he does, could it be about your brother? And Erika just sort of smirks at him, as if. But it's kind of an uncomfortable smirk, I think, as Nagi responds, "So that's how it is." And then he looks up. "By the way, Amino-san, how are you so bad at this game?" And we see that, I don't know enough about how the game is played, but the white pieces are, completely surrounding the black pieces. And Erika pouts, and Nagi looks at her, "Huh?" And Erika stands up, Geez, I'm done playing with you. Where's Sachi-chan? You were the one who asked me to play, and Sachi went back home. Oh, is Sachi moved out now? Or is that just like for a day trip? Or maybe Sachi's actually out with Soichiro. Anyway, we cut to Sachi. Huh? And she's outside the restaurant. She thinks, did somebody just call me? And then someone calls Sachi-chan, 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 and Sachi snaps back, am I being haunted? And there is I thought it was Aya for some reason, but no. Because Sachi in shock. Ai-chan? So yeah, that's how Ai is reintroduced to the family. Alright. When did you come back? I had no idea. And they're now sitting in the restaurant. You moved to China, right? And Ai responds, Shenzhen in Guangdong province. Where's that? It's totally China. Coordinate-wise, it would be 22 degrees north, 114 degrees east, which is not very helpful. As Sachi kind of snipes, well, even if you put it like that, and she thinks, was she always like this? And then I'm guessing this is one of the Umino parents. My, has it really been 7 years? And yeah, it's Mama Umino. Namie is her first name. Welcome back, Ai-chan. Look at you, all grown up now. And Papa Yohei chimes in, oh yeah, didn't even recognize you there. And Sachi kind of introduces her. I know, right? Especially her clothes and stuff. And I didn't really comment on her clothes. I think we've seen them before. But it's a very kind of frilly aesthetic. She's got like the big bow in her hair, the kind of... I don't think it's actually a corset, but it feels like a corseted skirt. And it kind of like flares out with a lot of like ruffles on the end. I don't know enough about proper skirt terminology to do a good description here, but you know what I mean. Even like the top part has this kind of big bow, not really a bow tie, but you know what I mean. And I kind of blushes as she like touches her ribbon. This is for work. Namie presses, oh, what kind of work? It's a secret. And Sachi's kind of stunned. Hold up, she's already working? Yeah, I'm curious what exactly kind of work requires that aesthetic. I don't know. I don't want to say it's some kind of fetish thing, but I can't imagine a work that would require it. So, that's not the kind of series this is, though, so let's just continue. As Yohei kind of grins, responsible as ever, aren't you? I mean, ever since you were little, you were always so mature. And I kind of grins, and Papa Yohei puts down a bowl for her. All right, order up. Katsudon, your favorite. You used to come here to eat all the time. Brought your allowance like a model citizen. And she starts, like, dumping some kind of I don't know what the proper term for, like, salt and pepper is, but not a condiment, but whatever it is. As Sachi responds, reacts, that's a lot of shichimi. And I just kind of says, I guess you could call me a regular. And Sachi kind of like stone-faced. No, that's what we call a neighbor. And Yohei, I'm assuming Yohei, maybe it's Namie. Oh, right. Where are your parents at? It'd be rude for us not to say hi after coming back. And I kind of deflects. About that. Our family's broken up. Alright, that got heavy quick. As Sachi just sort of freezes. As Yohei asks, what happened there? During those 7 years in China, we wanted to live in different places. Singapore for my father, France for my mother, Japan for me. And so our family ultimately decided to break up. In short, it was due to creative differences. Okay. So what exactly does she mean there? Was it like a divorce, or are they all still like technically a family, but they're just like separated? I genuinely have no idea. And Namie chimes in, oh, you mean like a band? And I think it's Sachi who snaps at, I think Namie, what kind of family is that? And Yohei just all smiles, but you know what, Ai-chan? We're glad you're back. You used to play with our kids all the time. You were like Nagi's older sister by a year. Oh, so she's older than Nagi. I guess I was. by the way, where's Nagi-kun? And Sachi gets in that, I don't want to talk about this face, as Namie just, like, cheerily adds in, oh, right, you haven't heard yet. And we cut to after that initial telling her he's engaged to the girl he was switched at birth with? Yep, that's why he's not living here right now. And I just sort of nods, I understand. And Namie sort of like sighs, surprising, isn't it? Yohei chimes in, this kind of thing makes for a real story, doesn't it? But I very kind of, it has this sort of, its paneling position doesn't really speak to this, but like the panel itself and like the sparkles behind her have this sort of line of huge importance panel vibe. I like to think nothing in the world is truly impossible. Which is, I don't know, something about that feels suspicious. Namie just sort of laughs, you got that right. And Yohei, true, very true. And Sachi just turns away. Is she not surprised? Which, yeah, she's taking this very calmly, especially if we're supposed to believe that she had a thing for Nagi way back when. And then I guess this is Sachi's line. You want to go to Nagi's place? And then, so I think they're here, as Sachi sort of thinks, says, and then thinks, I guess I brought her over. And I, very calmly, I'm just here to greet him, so I'll be headed home shortly. And here's the thing, though. I kind of noted that Nagi seems to have, like, blank spots in his memory, completely, like, everywhere around Ai. Like, to an almost suspicious degree. As I noted back in 61 with the cat story, and I think there was another point earlier that's like he should know this about Ai, but he just kind of forgot about her completely. So we'll see how that kind of comes into play. Sachi looks at her. Are you sure? Though it's not my house. And Ai just sort of like nods. All right then. And Sachi like laughs to herself. I can't wait to see Nagi's reaction. Come to think of it, 7 years ago, Nagi confessed to you, right? And there's our title line. As Sachi just nonchalantly brings it up, and we've seen this part of a flashback before. As Ai is driving away, I'll respond to your confession next time we meet, okay? And Sachi kind of monologues over it. Just as you left, I happened to hear what happened, and she laughs. Hilarious, isn't it? Elementary school kids confessing. And I responds, yes, well, I do have some thoughts about that. She's gonna confess back, I think. That's my money. And then it's gonna be more drama because Nagi has Hiro and Erika, and now there's Ai here. But Sachi just looks like she's ready for like the laugh of her life. So she remembers. And just then, mid-Jenga game, Erika in shock. Nagi-kun's childhood friend? And they're already, like, in the living room. As Sachi sort of grins, yep, she said she wanted to see Nagi. And Erika just turns to Nagi, such a person exists? And Nagi kind of stutters out, Chan? Nagi-kun. No. Nagi-chan. Oh, I'm not quite sure. Like, I know generally kun is a masculine ending and chan, at least at, like, the high school level, is a feminine ending. But doesn't chan sometimes get used for, like, young boys as well, I think? I'm not quite sure what the difference would be there, because I'm in no way fluent in Japanese, even vaguely. So I don't know what exactly that distinction is quite getting at. But I continues, you're all grown up now. Just like I dreamed of. And Erika is focusing on the exact same point I noted. Nagi-chan. And Nagi sits up. Well, why are you here? And I responds, I came to give you an answer. When I moved away and left, you confessed to me, right? That's exactly what she's been doing. That's her entire end goal. And Nagi just sort of freezes. No. And he's kind of like looks back to explain to Erika. That was way back. And Erika reacts, did you really? What are you, some kind of lady killer? Don't say it like that. And I respond, I'm here to give you my answer, I think. We see what looks like a Y, being covered by Nagi's, it's fine, really. It's been so long I've already forgotten. So I think it's my answer. But I continues, but I came back to Japan for one express purpose. Okay, she's about to say she also likes him. I've come all this way. I've come back to accept your hand in marriage, Nagi-chan. Yep, here we go. Time for more drama. I think I kind of alluded to this in the last video. But this plotline is like the most prototypical harem plot I think the series has gone into yet. The old childhood friend returning, and here who wants to accept his hand in marriage, because this is Cuckoo's fiance and no one thinks about dating in this series. But Erika is like, comically stunned. Sachi's a little like shocked that that's what happened here. And Nagi's just like stone cold, stunned silence. As Nagi all of a sudden reacts, marriage? And I grins, heh, now that I've said it, I feel at peace. The love quadrangle gets really, really, really shaken up. Next time, a candy store date with Ai-chan. And I am so sorry about my dog. She is just going... She normally does not go this ballistic. There'll be like a bark or two for a minute. I don't understand how she's not, like, tired out. She's been barking for like 15 straight minutes. Alright. So, this chapter, very much like an intro to Ai. A lot of mystery around her, both with her outfit and why it's for work. There's that line about nothing in the world is truly impossible. The fact that she has come to accept his hand in marriage, and she's so calm, as Sachi points out, is she not surprised at the bottom of 13? She's so calm about this whole situation, despite the fact the man she wants to marry is currently engaged. So a lot of things to take note on with Ai. While I did kind of say this is the most prototypical harem plot the series has gone into yet, that still doesn't mean it's like abandoned the strength of character writing Yoshikawa always brings to the table. So I'm still like looking forward to seeing where this goes, but like it definitely does feel like, I don't know, it feels like we've reached the point where like the series needs something to shake up the main plot a little bit, so Ai is like a bit of a tangent. But anyway, all that being said, let's jump right on into chapter 67. Or actually, we open with a cosplay of Erika. I don't think there's been a live-action series announcement. So I don't know I don't know if this is an official thing, this was included in the magazine, or if it's like a fan thing. I don't know, but all of a sudden there's this cosplay Erika. Again, heard nothing of any live-action adaptations. We see some more Erika panels from this cosplayer. I mean, she looks the part. It's a well-made costume as far as I can tell. And yeah, we come to 67th Foul, Won't You Walk Me Home? Our picture here is of, I'm guessing, Sachi holding up, Shoba-chan, my love. Nagi's childhood friend, Ai-chan, appears. She came back to do what? And we open right where we left off from last chapter, as Nagi just kind of stunned. You came back to marry me? That's right. And Nagi's shocked as he flashes back to their last meeting. I'll respond to your confession next time we meet. And Nagi's just like, huh? I feel like we're skipping some steps here. And Erika like nods in agreement, just a few. And Sachi, who is honestly in the right here, given everything else in this show, that's your problem? Like, yeah, everyone kind of skips to marriage in this series. And I grins, now that I've said what I came to say, I'm satisfied. And she bows, if you'll excuse me, I'll be going home now. And then she just walks out. She just turns and leaves. And Erika's kind of shocked. What just happened here? And Nagi thinks, so basically, after 7 years of consideration, she came to the conclusion that she'd marry me. She really hasn't changed at all. That's just like her. Or more like... And Erika turns to him, just like her? And Nagi sort of goes to lace up his shoes. Then I have to give her an answer too. And Erika presses, wait, you mean you're going after her? And Nagi snaps back, Umi no family motto. Return sincerity with sincerity. And with that, he leaves. And I don't quite remember. I know we've heard Umi no family mottos before. I don't think we've heard that one. So is the joke there that, like, they have a bunch of different family mottos? Or is that a recurring bit, that was the family motto we had heard in the past? I think it's a new one. I don't think we've heard return sincerity with sincerity before. But I may be wrong. I'm not quite an encyclopedic master of every manga I read. And Sachi just sort of, like, puts her head in her hands. Right, it's all coming back to me now. The two of them have always been like that. Always trading incomprehensible ideas. So again, there's this theme of Nagi and I being forgotten. Not to the same extent that, like, Nagi forgot major moments of knowing I, but it's still kind of there in the background. It's the kind of thing that might be me looking way too much into it, but I'm still a little suspicious about it. Anyway, Nagi snaps at her. They're totally on their own wavelength. And then we cut to Nagi, who's caught up to Ai. Wait, Ai-chan. And Ai looks back at him. Nagi-chan? And he's, like, very visibly out of breath. I also have an answer for you. Thank you for remembering me for the past 7 years. And Ai smiles. Yeah. And then he cuts right to the chase. But I'm sorry. There's somebody I like right now. And, I mean, the obvious answer is he's talking about Hiro here. But again, with Nagi's, I think, kind of boiling emotions is as to, you know, his relationships with Nagi and Erika, it's, let's say, slightly up for some debate as to who he directly means there. Like on a subconscious level, I'll say. I think he consciously means Hiro, but, you know, where in his subconscious is he? Anyway, back to the actual point. And anyway, he freezes. Actually, I've got a fiancé. And a sister unrelated by blood, too. What does that even fucking mean? What does that have to do with anything? Why are you bringing that up, Nagi? Why are you bringing that up? Like, is the implication here of that line that if anybody had a sister unrelated by blood, of course they'd be in love with them? Is that the implication you are drawing here, Nagi? What the fuck? I don't know. My thoughts on Nagisachi are well documented. You know, 50 plus videos complaining about it. So I got nothing new to say, but it's just annoying. It doesn't fit at all. Though, the fact that there's somebody I like right now, and a fiancé, maybe implies they're two different people, though the actually could be a kind of erasure of there's somebody I like right now, actually a fiancé, I should say a fiancé, which would further that he really is starting to talk about Erika. Maybe, who knows? Again, could be looking too deep into it. And I just gives that same placid grin. I see. Understood. And Nagi's shocked. Huh? Wait. You've been thinking about me, thinking about marriage for all these years, right? I'm in the wrong here. Snub me, yell at me, whatever you want. This was not what he was expecting. And I thinks for a sec, it was unexpected, but it's not a problem. What does that mean? We'll see if that's like I'm gonna win you over kind of vibe, or if it's she's just sort of passive. And Nagi is stunned, like, that's a little, oh, okay. Come to think of it, Ai-chan was just like this back then, too. And he continues, thanks for listening. I wonder if that's part of what I liked about her. But then Ai chimes in, if that's the case, and she salutes, full on, I will hereby make an adjustment. Okay. And he kind of turns and thinks, so what does she mean by that? And Ai turns around. So first things first, if you don't mind, won't you walk me home? That feels like she's trying to win him over. That's my bet. It's like it's a proto date. And Nagi thinks, I see. She wants me to walk with her as her childhood friend. And he sort of snaps, you're in good hands. But and Ai is just like speed walking as Nagi calls after her, wait up, no need to hurry. And then Ai calls back, blushing. For some reason, walking home with you is embarrassing. So in typical Cuckoo fashion, everyone is just a roiling mass of hormones and cannot work out their feelings at all. And so we see like she's been putting up this kind of mask of placidness. But I think this is much closer to the true Ai. She's a little bit embarrassed. Her actions back at the house, coupled with her like asking Nagi to walk her home, have kind of caught up to her, and she's like, holy shit, I just did that. I think that's the thought. That's what's going on in her brain right now, I think. And Nagi sort of like freezes after like telling her to wait up. And then he starts to like shake. I'm sorry. What? And then Ai chimes in, I've got it. And Nagi snaps, what's to get? And she holds up her finger. Next, just do as I say. Please look me in the eye. And they like look at each other, centimeters from each other's face. And then she like turns away embarrassed. Please stop. My heart just can't take it. And Nagi, who's now also blushing up a storm at this point, you told me to in the first place. And Ai kind of responds, it seems your gaze is too strong for me now that you're grown. And he kind of like rubs his eyes. Yeah, sorry. Wait, what's going on here? On with the final mission. Come with me to the old candy store we used to go to. So there's also there's very much all of a sudden a military vibe to Ai. There's that salute back on page 11, and now a mission. Like my first guess, if it weren't for the frilly ribbons are tied to her work, as she said in 66, I'd be like, okay, maybe she's in the JSDF or something, which would be really weird and absolutely, straining believability. But okay, that would be a choice, I guess. So anyway, I got no fucking clue what's going on with Ai right now. Nagi kind of smiles, and they arrive at the store. This really takes me back. We used to go there all the time. We sure did. And then Ai is all like kind of shivering, like shaking and blushing. I'm so nervous. Since it's just the two of us, this feels like a date. Nagi is also blushing a little bit, but this was your idea. And now it's 5:11. Totally not 7:11. Which is a bit of a shame. It's one of those the creeping power of giant chains. As Ai looks at it, I guess it's a convenience store now. And Nagi, who apparently doesn't even realize, since when? But Ai just sort of grins, back to that same kind of placid, non-reactive, mask. Do you remember, Nagi-chan? Mine beloved Super Ball? Is this sort of a bouncy ball or something? Mine beloved. And then he remembers, the first prize in the candy shop. The thing you were aiming for. We have a quick flashback. Mine beloved? Mind bees love it? What's that even mean? I'm curious if, what exactly the gag is. I'm sure that's a translation thing. Is that, mine beloved is in English. And so the translation has to kind of play it as Nagi doesn't know the words, but the original, it's like, Nagi thinks it's something in Japanese, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, mind bees love it? What's that even mean? And I respond, it means something that you love very much. Oh. Even if it kills me. And she's sort of looking at it doing this sort of camera thing. I'm getting that Super Ball no matter what. And we see an image of the first prize. And so from that day on, Ai's challenge had begun. And I don't know what you buy I think it's you just buy a ticket. And she wins 5th prize. Another dud, huh? And I looks up with, like, determination. I won't give up. I'll come and try again tomorrow. Third prize. And Nagi just, like, sipping on a juice box. Too bad. Statistically speaking, it's about time I should be able to finally pull it. And then she walks away. I'm sure it's one of those things where you can't win kind of deals. I'm out of allowance for the month. Let's come back next week. And Nagi just kind of nods. Okay. And then the next day has disappeared. Nagi's shocked. It's gone! And the shop owner kind of apologizes. The first prize? It finally showed up just yesterday. And Ai is back to that kind of placid mask that we've seen from her so often. Is that so? I guess it is what it is. It's a game of luck after all. This is all Nagi, who's sort of just kind of talking. Ai's sort of sitting there. I'm sure it's somebody else's problem. Treasure now. The Mind Bees love it, Super Bowl. The candy store lady said she'd order more. And Ai is very kind of curt and to the point there. Yeah, no problem. I give up. And the waterworks come out. So we're again seeing this kind of Ai masks her emotions constantly. Which I'm sure is going to come up in some way going forward. And Nagi is sort of stunned there. Ai-chan, don't cry. I'm not crying. No, you're totally crying. And then Nagi, they're like sitting on the I think that same corner maybe. As Nagi just says, that did happen. Really takes me back. Back then I didn't know what Mind Beloved meant. So I thought it was Mind Bees Love It. And Ai turns to look at him. By the way, have you figured out what I've been trying to say? And Nagi sort of looks at her, huh? And she continues, the matter of the Super Bowl lasted about a month, right? But this time it's been 7 years. Is she about to get at, like, a connection with, she pursued the Super Bowl for a month, and she's been pursuing Nagi all this time. That's why it's been 7 years. Oh, and once again, much like the Super Bowl, she lost it while she missed out her chance to win the prize. As much as I'm a little bit uncomfortable calling any human being a prize. But anyway, to kind of further that comparison, she puts her fingers back in that same pose she looked at the Super Bowl with. And most importantly, I'm not the same person that I used to be. And she puts out to her eye, this time, I'll get my prize no matter what. So yeah, I was kind of right with my earlier suggestions. It's all a mask, and her goal here is her adjustment is that she now has to win Nagi over Hiro and Erika and definitely no one else. We're not going to talk about that. All right, I'm seeing where she's going. There's still a couple of recurring mysteries. That line about the impossible last chapter, what her outfit has to do with her job, what's up with all the military vibes, the salute and the mission. That might just be like a bit she's doing, but who knows. Anyway, this time I'll get my prize no matter what. Mine beloved Nagi-chan. And Nagi is just sort of, oh boy. Okay. And thinks, so when she said adjustment, was this what she meant? An unexpected rift in Nagi's love quadrangle. Next time, men talk with their fists. Okay, let's pause a moment on that little blurb there. Men talk with their fists. There are, I believe, 4 named male characters who have physically shown up in this manga. There's Erika's brother, who's off somewhere, we don't know where. But there's Nagi, there's Soichiro, there's Papa Yohei, and there's Asuma Shio. So I'm guessing Shion will be back next week. I don't know why. Maybe part of his crush on Erika, and they'll see Nagi has a new woman in the case of Ai. If Ai transfers to their school, especially, that could lead to a fight, I guess. Unexpected rift could come from Hiro learning about Ai, maybe. But anyway, talking about this chapter, there's a lot to like here. Again, it's kind of it's a very harem-y plot. The childhood friend's sudden return. which causes a rift in the existing dynamics. But again, Yoshikawa has just such a good like strength of character writing that I can't really fault it too much. Ai is still an engaging character. There's again, I'm a little uncomfortable with her calling Nagi her prize. We'll see if that comes up. If it's meant to just be, kind of thing that people just say in general, which it kind of is. People refer to attractive people as prizes or catches also in that same kind of vein. Or if it's something that Yoshikawa is actually kind of going to address, especially because the prize, as Ai refers to, it's not really in a vacuum. It's not just she thinks Nagi's attractive and she likes him, and so she uses the word prize. It's all wrapped up in this metaphor of the Super Ball. The Mind Beloved, we learned at the end, was her own phrase for the Super Ball. And she's now brought that mindset, or she's directly contrasting her kind of passiveness about the Super Ball to an active pursuit of Nagi. And so we'll see if the series kind of addresses that's sort of just a little dehumanizing. Maybe it won't. It's not the biggest thing in the world, but it is sort of something that might... The series is potentially setting up that sort of conundrum. But that all remains to be seen. Beyond that, there's a lot of fun to Ai. There's just enough mystery that I really want to know more about her. Again, what is her job? What does that have to do with the very frilly outfit she's got? What is going on with, especially because it seemed like there was something that, made her change her, style choices. Look at this flashback. She's in, there's one where she's just, in a short-sleeved hoodie. One where she's in what looks like a skirt and just, a regular shirt, or a kind of collared shirt. Peter Pan collar, I think it's called. Another where she's in a bit more of a, what feels like a English schoolboy top. But it's all very different from, the frilly, would that be considered Lolita outfits she's got going on there? Not in a lowly sense, but you know what I mean. It's just a very different style choice, and they directly call attention to it. So I'm definitely watching that. There's a mystery going on about Ai's clothing. But yeah, with that, I think I've especially during the chapters itself, I very much kind of dug into a lot of what I see to dig into here. Anyway, Ai seems to be an engaging character. I want to know where Yoshikawa is going with her, beyond just being kind of the staple childhood friend with a sudden and dramatic reappearance. She could be a really engaging character, even if I don't think, especially with her comparing Nagi to the bouncy ball, I don't think I'm gonna like her. I don't think anything will happen with Ai in particular to shake me from Nagi Eri. I don't see that happening. It could, I guess, as I imagine Ai is gonna be the focus directly for the next 5 or so chapters before she sort of settles into her routine as a character, and we get more about the entire cast chapters. So yeah, I'm kind of... Ai so far seems promising, but I'm really curious to see where Yoshikawa is going with her. Anyway, these chapters were a lot of fun, and as always, Yoshikawa is just a really strong writer and a great artist, and I can't really wait to see what's happening next. So I'm going to leave this video off here. Hope you all enjoyed the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, do whatever makes you happy, And remember, your life is your own, okay? Bye!